Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, we're doing a video on GPS devices, or basically what I use as a GPS while on the motorbike. I had James from Western Australia ask in a comment, what GPS do I use when going off-road? The simple answer to that is I use Mud Maps 2. Now I know there's a Mud Maps 3, but I've already got Mud Maps 2. I don't feel that I need to upgrade to it. There are Alistair's actually got Mud Maps 3 and he was saying that it's got some pretty cool upgrades to it or whatever, but I've been using the Mud Maps 2 for quite a few bloody months now. I've used it on the Ramble, I've used it when I did that Murray Sunset trip through the sand and all that kind of stuff. That's what I used to get myself through that. And it just works. It works bloody fantastic, which I'll go into, and I'll show you some of the basic stuff. There's lots, like any of those bloody programs. There's so many bits and pieces that you can use. I pretty much just use the basic stuff because that's all I need to use. And then obviously while I'm on the road, now all I use is Google Maps. Now that Google Maps has that thing where you can go, give me directions to go to, I don't know, High Street, 1 High Street, South Melbourne, and the little lady comes up and she goes, "Hi Mark." Well, she doesn't say "Hi Mark," but she goes, "Take the second exit to the left, blah blah blah," and then you follow it and it gets you exactly where you've got to go. Not that you need a GPS to get around. I mean, people will say, "Oh, well, I only use bloody paper maps, and I don't need this bloody fingle dangle wangle bloody GPS stuff." Back in the day, anybody around my age will, know they have what we called the Melways, and you'd open up the book and you'd go, 54A, and that would get you to the spot, and you'd go, "Oh yeah," and you'd have to bloody work and flick pages and. And you'd work out, so you'd need a bloody navigator, otherwise you'd have to pull over and bloody be checking the book to see if you're going in the right way. And you can still do that. You can still get out a big map and you can find your way, no worries, or just follow your nose. GPSs just make it bloody easy. Why not? It's there. Use the bloody things. So that was for anybody that was going to bloody crap on about that bullshit. So I'll start by a little bit of a backstory. Let's go for a backstory. I'm going to sit down while I bloody do it. Okay, so I suppose the backstory, I'm calling it the bloody backstory, but for anybody that's new to motorcycling or whatever, and they're going, "Oh geez, do I have to have a special bloody GPS for the motorcycle or whatever?" You don't. Like I said, you can use a map, a paper map. You can use the GPS that you use in your car. You can use a phone and the Google Maps on that. You can download special apps which have GPS stuff on it, and I mean there's just 101 different bloody things that you can use, and they all have positives and negatives. And the main thing, I suppose, if it's a purpose thing like a TomTom Rider or the bloody I can't even remember the bloody, we'll call them the Gizmo. They're waterproof, they have a battery in them so that if it's, unplugged or you don't have it plugged into your cigarette lighter on your motorbike, that it will run for 4 hours, and, lots of different things like that that will make a GPS more better for a bike, I suppose is what I'm getting at. But at the end of the day, you don't need anything special. Simple as that. So, why did I say that? Here I go, I've lost my bloody train of thought. I'm going to go make a cup of tea and then I'm going to come back to you. I suppose what I was getting at was that you don't need anything fancy. If you want something that's specifically for a bike, so that if you're riding along in the sunshine and all of a sudden it starts bloody raining and you don't want to have to do anything and just continue riding, or I don't know, rain's basically the worst thing. I mean, everything else, I mean, I run my bloody iPhone 6 on the DR650 and dropping the bike and that, and it's fine, it doesn't hurt it at all. I think rain is our biggest issue when it comes to our GPS device. So, and if you just want that hassle of not worrying about it bloody in the rain, buy a TomTom Rider or whatever else bloody ones there are out there. If you're prepared to go, oh shit, it's bloody starting to rain, I'll bloody just tuck that in my tank bag and not worry about it. Or get out the Ziploc bag and cover it over and bloody put a elastic band around it and hey presto, you're sweet again. You can do that. Anyway, let's go back out there. Hang on, no, I'm going to show you something. I was just walking out here to do it. I'm going to show you something that Nace just made. Check this bloody thing out, would ya? She's a bloody clever woman. That's just big bloody thick pieces of wood she's joined together and made it, and it's obviously she's made that from, that's just scrap wood, she's painted it up, she's made it look all bloody old and stuff, yeah. Bloody cool as, eh? Alright, back out here. Alright, so I've just done a bloody quick Google and best motorcycle GPS guide 2016. TomTom Rider 400, the Garmin Montana 680, Garmin Zumo 390, Garmin Zumo bloody 590. I think the Zumo and the Rider are the very specific ones for motorbikes. But you scroll through it and it's all the same shit. Amazon.com. So if you're in Australia, remember these bloody $499 bloody dollars. You're most probably looking at friggin' $700 or something like that. But yeah, $500, or for Australians, most probably $700, or higher for a bloody GPS. So if you don't have that bloody dosh to spend, don't feel that you have to. Lots of different ways to bloody do it. You just got to search around, or you listen to this video and I'm telling you, you can get away with the GPS stuff that's on there. So I'm not going to show you the Google Maps, because obviously you guys would have used Google Maps on your bloody iPhone or your Android or whatever phone. You know how that works. It's really, really simple. It's free. It's continually updated. Yeah, it might not be as updated as the TomTom or whatever where you pay for those, but and that's the thing, you got to work out. Are you in a city where you need to pay to have that or not? Most of you guys watching this, I suppose, you're more looking to head out or whatever. I think, I don't know. So yeah, that's what I use if I need to get somewhere that's kind of like in the suburbs or bloody cities or places that I don't know of. If I'm heading off up to Timbuktu, I pretty much know here in Australia. Obviously in other countries it's going to be different, but here in Australia, when you're heading into the outback, there's not too many bloody roads to know that I get on this highway and I just follow it for 300 k's, and then I might bloody do a turn off to go another 200 k's to the left or to the right. It's pretty bloody simple here. But what I will do now is just give you a quick look at the bloody Mud Maps 2. Now you can, if you're interested in it, jump on Google, search bloody it. They've got videos more specific to it, I suppose. I suppose the beauty of this is that I'm using it, and I think it's half bloody decent. Not that I'm not an expert at any of this. This is just basically what I use and what I find works for me in my situation. I'll bring you down and we'll have a bloody closer look at it. Actually, I should just bloody clarify, because I know I'll get to the editing and I'll bloody miss something. So I use the Google Maps if I want to type in an address and get somewhere. That's what I use that for. The Mud Maps 2 is when I'm doing an adventure, I'm going off-road somewhere, and before I go, I can preset my maps, which I'll show you, tracks, to get through things. And normally it's not how to get all the way there, it's once I get to the tricky part, and then I set that part up. It makes sense? Hopefully. Alright, let's get into it. Sorry guys, I just thought of another thing. The next question people are going to ask is the thing between Hema Maps and Mud Maps. So I've got them both up on the... Jeez, I'm talking like a retard. There we go, turns bloody around like that. There you go. So this, when it comes to the apps on the phones, out of the GPS apps, Hema Maps and Mud Maps, and they've both got the Apple or the Android. You can see there.
These are the two that are pretty much the same. They both cost $100. I think it's $99.95 or something like that. Hammer seems to be the more professional, or seem to be the more professional. They have their bloody sign written up utes and they travel around and do videos and all that kind of stuff. Mud Maps seems to be more your they're not backyarders, but I mean that's the Hammer is a bit more flash looking. Anyway, so when I was going through all the reviews, and it's really hard when you're doing reviews. I mean, people's comments, they're all personal comments, and people's brains are wired all bloody differently and whatever. So it was really hard to find the distinction between the two. The money's the same, so it was really hard. But I ended up going with Mud Maps, and I'm now really, really happy that I did go with Mud Maps. One thing they said about what seemed to be a constant thing between the two people who have had the two different ones was that Hammer's maps didn't seem to be as detailed as what Mud Maps ones were. And another thing that Hammer seemed to have with theirs was that it got a little bit glitchy, or things wouldn't move smoothly. Whereas the Mud Maps, nobody was saying that. So anyway, I went with the Mud Maps, and I can tell you that the Mud Maps detail. I can't talk about Hammer because I don't know. I haven't looked at it. I haven't seen it. I haven't got it. But I know that that there was no glitches with the Mud Maps. It all followed as I went along, no problems whatsoever, and the detail is great. I mean, you can just zoom straight in, which I'll show you. So there you go. That's my thoughts between Hammer and Mud Maps. But remember, I haven't used Hammer, so I don't know. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I know that Mud Maps works for me, and I'm really happy with it. All right, I will now show you the bloody thing on the phone. All right, guys. So here we go. Mud Maps. I'm doing this through the bloody viewfinder. Here we go. So we're starting her up, and I'll just bring it all the way out. So this is that main raster, what they call the raster mat, or they call it the big map. So as you scroll in, things start to appear, and hopefully you can see that. There you go, we've got a glitch. Mud Maps unexpectedly quit. We'll just go, don't send. So there you go, there's a glitch. But it's alright, I'm confident. So we're coming down, we're going to Bendigo. So obviously that red thing is where I am. Oh no, go down here, and look, it just keeps bloody going. These are all bloody tracks out in the bloody bush. So you can go way down and get all that stuff. So that works really well. If you want to change it to bloody check out maps on this device, there's maps that you can, that's the big, what they call the map. So that's February 2015, which is what I'm currently using. Whoop. If I go back to maps on device, go to satellite, Apple. So then that's basically, oh, you just keep friggin' going. Where are we? Go down here. And you can just bloody keep going. Look in people's back. Whoops, we've gone too far. There you go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a route that I set for that Murray Sunset National Park map. So basically that's the one that I did. I'm going to change the map just back to the big map. You can turn off all those bloody, you don't have to have all the stuff showing. So there's Bendigo there, and that's where I went to. Get rid of that. So I rode all the way up here, but I'd pre-done this. So basically, if you've seen that video, I started at Hattah, and I just put these things in there. Now you'll see that I'm not exactly following that track.
The reason why I didn't put all the turns and bits and pieces and made it, follow it exactly, is because when you're doing this, you can, each of these points gets counted, and you get 100 for each route that you can do. So if you've got lots of little bloody squiggles, you end up running out of the stuff. But there's that Phoenix track. So what I did was when I was presetting it, when I'd come to bits like this where there was a funny bit, I made sure I put those points on those sections. And that's when I was travelling along and I got confused, because I had this out of, and it wasn't this particular one, but I got confused at the tracks. It wasn't until I went like this and I went, oh, now I know what's going on. I have to come down here, then along there. Now you can swap over your maps again. Go to satellite. Where is it? Oh, bloody lost it. Oh no, there it is. It's just a long way away. So even if there wasn't a track on that other map, basically when I went out there the time before looking for that dredge, I was actually using the satellite pictures, and I just followed the tracks. I could see that there was a track there, and I just keep bloody following it. Hopefully you guys are seeing that. Jeez, I hope you're seeing it. Otherwise I'll have to redo all this. But yeah, I just all the way through, and I'll just go back out. But see, it works really well. I mean, you're just in and out, no worries at all. And that's the South Australian border. That's where I finished. And then I just followed roads down and then bloody headed back to Bendigo. So that works really, really well. Now, if I wanted to, so if I can go back to routes, or I can turn, oops, sorry, come back here. It's got a little eye thing there. I just turn it off so it's not now showing on that map. So I use this for the Tilpa Pub one as well. Go back to the map. So if I wanted to, I'm looking through the screen, guys, on the bloody camera. If I want to go add a route, hang on, cancel that. Are you sure? Yep. Change it back to the map. God, this is bloody boring the shit out of you guys. Let's start at bloody Ayan. Now I go, alright, I want to start at Ayan. I click on there. Oh, that's where it starts. Oh, so I've buggered up. So I'll go, no, I want to move that down to there. You use that little mover thing, and then you tap the next spot. Then you go, all right, at Hattah. And then I can zoom in, and then I can go, all right, I'm going to head up over here, over to there, to there, to there, to there, and you just keep going. And basically then you just go, whoops, next. And then it's asking me to put a name, call it red, done. Red has been saved, info. You can add a picture and it tells you the bloody distance of it. And that's it. That's basically all I use that for.
So yeah, really bloody simple. I suppose I didn't show you that when you want to follow it, if I bring it up, I'll try and, so I pick the route that I wanted to do, and I go navigate, and I go, yeah, I want to follow it. Basically, because we did from Oyen just up to there, but it's showing me a line. It's showing me a line, so I'm in Bendigo. You also have this little thing down here. That's the one that I put it on. Can you hopefully see that? And what that does is that puts me in the direction that I'm facing, and it just keeps traveling along. As I'm going, I don't have to move this or anything. It follows and the map moves as we're going. But basically at the moment it's telling me, dickhead, you're a bloody long way away from it. You have to somehow get up through there. Oops, sorry. Get up to that point, and then you can start following that. Cool. That was a bit shonky, but
that's the other thing with the mud maps. I think, well, what I found, it's a bit like the iPhone for me. It's really intuitive. It's really simple to use. Mud maps seem to be pretty bloody intuitive too. Some of the, like, I've got other bloody GPS stuff on there which I've used, and it takes quite a bit to bloody getting used to. Whereas mud maps, yeah, you obviously got to find out where bits and pieces are. But as you saw, I mean, I know where stuff is. It's nothing really tricky. You just go boom, 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 boom. It's simple. The laying of the tracks, you just touch it. You can still move the map without accidentally putting bits and pieces. And if you don't get it exact, you can move them around. Really, really simple. All right, guys. So that's basically it. Hopefully that's given you a good overview of that. I suppose the next question is going to be mounts. How do I bloody mount it on the bike? I mount it exactly the same way on the Postie bike or on Harry the C50, the Cruiser, and the and Max the bloody DR650. It's, what time is it? It's 11:15 p.m. at night time. It's been bloody raining and it's cold, but I'm going to bring you out the back. I'll just show you on Max. I have now. Let's go out there. I'll just show you this. My dog's inside in the nice and warm, but this is what she leaves me. Look at this. Is that like a death trap or what? Give her all these lovely bones and she bloody puts them up. I'm going to stand on bloody one of those. Crazy. Alright, I'll set the tripod up and I'll show you what we're doing here. Actually, before we I'll show you what I've got on the bike, I'll just show you all the bloody different stuff that I've used through the years. And a lot of this is to do with camera mounting as well, but also with the phones and bloody bits and pieces. But just over here, you might not be able to see it that well, but there is just tons. That's actually the TomTom Rider. I was using that in the Jeep, having the suction cap on the windscreen, but I just don't use it in the bloody Jeep now either. We just use the phones. It just works so much bloody simpler. But yeah, all these bloody different types. I've used lots and lots of different bloody mounts, and the one that I'm going to show you now is what I believe is the best. I mean, there's no perfect thing, and as you'll see, when it's rough stuff, I have the extra bands. I'll show you. Alright guys, so what I use on all the bikes, like I mentioned, to mount the holder of the iPhone is RAM mounts. Now, you all know RAM mounts, they're the best thing out. They're solid as, they're very simple to use. What I've done is, on each of the bikes I basically have that mounted permanently. So I've gone out and I've bought 3 of these. In actual fact, I already actually had them when I was doing all the bloody camera stuff, and now I've using them for this mount. So they're on there. So when I want to put this mount on another bike, if I'm going to be riding it, I just undo that, and this pops off. I won't do that just at the minute, but I'll just show you here. I'll just undo this. So that that bit there gets bolted to your handlebars. There's also a plastic piece that goes in here. And obviously it's very important that you don't over tighten. You make it tight, but don't over tighten, because these are so strong that you can actually crush your bloody handlebars with them. So you put that on there, and then that pops in there, that bloody screws down, and on the bottom of this one there's another ball, and that just slots in there. Hey presto, you got it. You can move the bloody things whichever way you want to do it. Works really well. Alright, I'll grab my phone and I'll give you a close-up of this. Alright, so this, I don't know what you call it. It's got a Camzilla sticker on it because that's where I bought it, camzilla.com.au. But yeah, it's one of these. I'm limited because I've got such a big bloody phone in what mounts that I can use. There's not as many mount options for the iPhone 6 Plus, but this one works. Now you'll see that I've got this sticky bloody duct tape on here, and if you look down there, God, I'm trying to do it through the viewfinder. I've actually sticky taped these little rubber mounts. Actually started coming off, and I actually lost one. So I took the other one off there, and I've just put the sticky tape, and it works. Seems to work. You can actually buy new ones, but I've just done that. Now you'll see I've got these elastic bands on there.
I'll go get the phone, we'll chuck it on there, and then I'll show you what I do. Alright guys, the phone's actually in my bloody pocket, so to go on there, just bloody stick it in there like that. That's it. Now if I'm on the cruiser, that's all I need to do, and that thing just stays there, no bloody worries at all. If I wanted to turn this around bloody sideways, and that's the beauty of this particular, the RAM mount, is that you've got so many bloody options to turn it. Now what I have found is that when you're on max and you're bloody out on the tracks and it's bloody jumping around and everything, these can start to lift off and start to bloody pop out. Now I've actually had it fall out of it in total, but it was only lucky that I had the USB hooked into the socket there, and it fell out and the cord actually held it, so I was able to grab it and go, shit, geez, that was lucky. So now what I do is I just have these bloody lacquer bands. I've got 4 lacquer bands, and I just basically do that, and that makes it just stay there. It's a little bit ugly looking. If I had bloody black lacquer bands, I'd have black lacquer bands, but I don't, and that works perfectly. There you go. Cool. Look, there's my little dog who was setting traps for me. You were setting traps for me, Missy. What were you doing? Hey? You're just waking up, are you? So there you go, guys. That's basically what I use for GPS. On the road, basically use my phone with Google Maps, or when I'm off-road, I use Mud Maps 2. Cool. All right, guys, keep on riding.